Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Please check it. All of you are getting my voice on screen, guys. Please confirm to me. Those are attending in online. Please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Please give response to me, guys. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Right. Right. Good morning, guys. Right. And in the last class, just what we understand there in the last session, just given the very fundamental points, the basic orientation about this JDBC. In JDBC also given somewhat information related to database and database management systems, the types of database management systems. That part only here we understand, right? All right, sir. Now, just I want to give the content, the little bit document here. Now, let us prepare this document. Guys, then one more thing I'm telling there. All of you are using this document. All of you are getting this document link. Whatever the document here I'm preparing, no, I'm using there. All of you are having link to access this document. I think so. It's not available. Already given that link there. Might be it was deleted. Again, I will give the document link at the end of the class. Don't worry. First of all, let's understand this JDBC. So before going to talk with JDBC, we have to understand what is this database, what is the meaning of database management system, then all the points here we have to understand. All right, sir. Now, what we have to understand there, right, sir. Let me go for one point here. In enterprise application development, in enterprise applications, it is the convention to manage, organizations data. Organizations data. What is that organizations data, guys? Now tell me. There's a convention to manage the organizations data, like what there? Employees details. Next one is what there? Customers details. Next one is what there? Products details, and so on and so on and so on. So many things here we have to manage. All right. To manage all these details, we have to use like what there? What we have to go there, guys? Now tell me. Storage areas. We have to use what there? Storage areas. As you understood in the last class, you must aware about this storage areas now. Right, sir. How many types of storage areas are available there? Now tell me. There are two types of storage areas. Am I right or not? There are two types of storage areas. What are the two types of storage areas there? Now tell me. First one is temporary storage areas, and the second one is what there? Permanent storage areas. Permanent storage areas. Am I right or not? Have you prepared any document for this in the last class? I think so. Just I have explained that. Even that diagram must be existed with me. Let me check it. If it is available, I can show the diagram directly. All right, sir. ADV 10. Advanced storage, right? Exactly, it's available. Document was not prepared anyway, but diagram I prepared. No storage areas. I prepared this one here. Okay. Only this diagram here we prepared. No, but few more points are remaining here. That few more points also here I want to be provided there. Now try to understand it anyway. Two more points here. First of all, here we have to understand like what there temporary storage areas. What are these temporary storage areas actually? What we are able to done with these temporary storage areas now? Right, sir. These are memory elements. These are memory elements. They are able to store. They are able to store data temporary only. They are able to store data temporary, not permanently. Can you tell me what are the examples for these temporary storage areas? No, what examples are available? Come on, guys. Now tell me what are the examples? No, buffers and what next one? Can know Java objects, buffers and as well as like what are there? Java objects. These are the temporary storage areas. Next one. Second one is like what there? Permanent storage areas. What are these permanent storage areas? If you observe this, permanent storage areas, if you understand this, right, sir. Observe carefully. Permanent storage areas are what there? These are able to store data permanently. These are able to store data permanently. Tell me, what are the various examples for these permanent storage areas now? Already we have seen that. First one is what there? File system. Second one is what there? Database management system. And third one is what there? Data warehouses. Observe carefully. Now the first one is like what there? File systems. And second one is what there? Database management system. And what next one here? Last one is what there? Data warehouses. These are overall three types of like permanent storage areas here what we are having. That's okay, fine. Now we have to understand a question, one important interview question here at basic level. What is this question here? We have to understand there. What are the differences between file system and database management system? What are the difference between file system and database management system? Here we have to provide some answers for this one. All of you guys observe carefully. What are the differences here we are getting here? The very first one. Now tell me, file system is what there? File system. Already given the points here. Now try to read out this point here. File system is a platform dependent or not? But whereas database management system is what there? Platform independent. Observe carefully. This is the first one here. So file system is a platform dependent. It is not suitable for the platform independent programming languages. It is not suitable for the platform independent programming languages. Observe carefully. Next one. What about this database management systems? No. Here the point is what there? Database management systems are platform independent. Platform independent. Observe carefully. It's a platform independent. So it is very much suitable. It is very much suitable for the platform independent programming languages. Right, sir. This is point number one. Next one is point number two. Now tell me, file systems are able to store what? How much data? Less data or more data? File systems are able to store less data. File systems are able to store less data, whereas database management systems are able to store more data. Database management systems are able to store what there? More data. Observe carefully. The next one, third one here. File systems are able to store less data. Database management systems are able to store more data. Nice. Then after that, third point here. What about the security? File systems are able to provide what security? File systems are able to provide lesser security, whereas database management systems are able to provide more security. Are able to provide what there? More security. Next one is another point here. After the security, data redundancy I given there. What is that another point I have given there? No, data redundancy. File systems are able to redundant data in the sense what there? Duplicate data. File systems are able to increase data redundancy. But whereas database management systems are able to reduce data redundancy. This is another one. Now observe carefully. Data redundancy is okay. Query languages support there. Where query languages support is available, where query languages support is not available there. If you observe this, file systems are not having query languages support. Okay, but whereas database management systems are having query languages support. Am I right or not? Now tell me, query database management systems has query languages support. Right? I think so. Overall, these are the various points here we provided about like the differences between file systems and what next one, database management systems. That's okay. Then if you understand all the 5 points here, next one we are having another question there. What about this another question there? Observe carefully. Another important interview question. What are the differences between database management systems and what next one here? What are the difference between database management systems and data warehouses? This is another question, guys. This question is very simple. Not to have much data, then very simple here. Observe carefully. Database management system is able to store lesser data. When compared with what there? When compared with the data warehouses. That means file system is able to store less data. Database management systems are able to store middle level data, but data warehouses are able to store what there? Huge volumes of data. Huge volumes of the data are maintained by what there? Data warehouses. Now observe carefully. This is a point number 1. Now here, data warehouses are able to store more data when compared with the database management systems. That's okay. Just in the comparison I'm giving this point here, otherwise already completed this point. No. Next one is the second point here. Observe carefully. Database management systems are not having good data retrieval mechanisms. That means still it is a lag with the database management systems, like what there. Still it is a lag with what their database management systems about the retrieve the huge volumes of the data. Up to 10 records or maybe 100 records, it's okay. More than that, buffering time it will take more. Then performance will be very less. But in the case of data, like what their data warehouses there, what I'm telling there, data warehouses are having data retrieval mechanisms in the form of data mining techniques. Answer my point here. Data mining techniques are available. By using the data mining techniques, it able to retrieve the data in a fast manner. So data mining is one of the important thing as part of what the data warehouses. Right, so now these are the mainly two differences here we can understand about our content. Guys, all of you are getting clarity on these points now? All right, so now this is the second one we are able to understand clearly. Leave this one. Now observe carefully in the diagram, whatever the diagram I prepared here, up to this point we completed or not? All of you understand up to this one or not? Nothing else. This I completed in the last session. Now understand this clearly. Next point. I have a question, guys. You have to answer for this question. What is the difference between database and database management systems? What is the difference between database and database management system? What is the difference between database and a database management system? We have to get answer for this particular question. All of you ready? Understand it. In two ways we are able to differentiate this one. What are the two ways to differentiate this database and database management system? First one is at academic level in the sense at basic level. If you're not having any awareness on computer science, no, at very fundamental differences. No. Database is a memory block to store data. Say for example, database is what their memory block to store data. Simple definition. But what is this database management system? What is the meaning of this database management system actually? Understand it now. It is a software system. Database management system is what there? It's a software system. It able to By using the software system, we are able to manage the data by storing it into the database, by retrieving it from database, by updating it on the databases. Now, yes, sir, got it or not? The first level definitions are very simple. What is this first level definition here? Database is what there. What is the meaning of this database here? No, database is a memory block to store data. Database is what there? It is a memory block to store data. What is this database management system? Is a software system. Database management system is a software system. It is able to store, it is able to, or else it can be used to manage the data in a database by storing it in a database, by storing it in a database, and by retrieving it from databases. That's it. Now this is a simple definition here we can understand about like what their database and a database management system. The simple definitions here are given. That's okay. This is at one level. These differences are like what they're at one level we can understand. But the second level difference here I'm telling you, try to understand it now. Say for example, Durgasoft is an organization. Durgasoft is what there is an organization. What is the database of Durgasoft? What is the database of Durgasoft? What we are thinking about the database of Durgasoft? Right, sir, exactly. We should not think about Oracle or maybe MySQL or no. The Durgasoft database is what there? All students details, all employees details, all courses details, all schedules information. What exactly the operations are going on at Durgasoft? Every information, every detail about these operations is nothing but what their database of Durgasoft. Similarly, if we observe these organizations, no, enterprise applications or enterprises, no, right? So database is what their database is the collection of interrelated data, is a collection of what their interrelated data as a single unit. Database is what their interrelated collection of interrelated data as a single unit. This is what exactly the meaning of what their database. Let's come for this. What is the meaning of this collection of interrelated data? Collection of interrelated data. What is the meaning of it? No, observe carefully. For example, Durgasoft is an organization where student is an entity. Okay, students are coming to the Durgasoft. Students are coming to the Durgasoft for the sake of the classes. Here, student and class both are related. Students are coming to Durgasoft for the classes taught by faculty members. Student, courses, faculties, all are interrelated. Students are coming to the Durgasoft for the sake of courses taught by faculties at the respective schedules. What are the relations now? Student, then what next one here? Classes, faculties, schedules. Got my point or not? So if you want to maintain all this data with the relation, we have to maintain all the details or not? Students are joining for courses. For which courses students are joining? Maybe Java course, a set of students. Python, some other set of students. Java students are having schedule at a particular time. One faculty is teaching Java, other faculty is teaching Python. Which faculty, which students, and which schedule? That everything is related or not? This total collection of data, interrelated data as a single unit, that is called as what their database. If we talk about Durgasoft database now, which includes all employees data, all faculties data, all schedules information, all the courses information, everything with a relation together as a single is called as what their a database. Right, sir, that's okay, fine. This is a basic awareness on like what their database now. That's okay, fine. Next one is, what is this database management system? What exactly the meaning of database management system? Understand it now? If you come for this point here, answer is very clear. Database management system is a software system. Database management system is a instead of saying that, database management system is a Set of programs is a set of programs, or else maybe database management system is the collection of interrelated data and a set of programs. Database management system is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to perform all the database operations. All the database operations. Database and database operations related things. Only database is what there is a collection of data. Only raw data gathering. That is called as database. Along with the database, a set of programs are available. That means a software is available to store data, to retrieve data, to update the data, to delete the data, to perform these operations. A set of programs are available. The database and a set of programs. Database and a set of programs, that is called as what there? Database management system. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Simple. Oracle is an example. What we are defining about Oracle, is it a database or a database management system? There's a basic point here. In general, what is this Oracle actually? Oracle is a technology. Oracle is what there? A technology. It has a database management system. It is representing what there? Database management system means that both database and as well as what there? A set of programs are available to perform database operations. Oracle has both SQL support. Inbuilt SQL is available, at the same time storage is available or not? SQL and storage. For what is the meaning of it now? It able to manage the data, raw data, then it able to use it. It can be used to perform database operations or not. Now that is the meaning of like what there? Oracle technology. Not only Oracle, MySQL is also be the same thing. PostgreSQL SQL is also be the same thing here. Understand my point here? So database is what there? Collection of data, gathering of the data. But database management system is what there? Database as well as what there? A set of programs to perform database operations now. So this is the meaning of like what there? Database and database management system clearly. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity on this point or not? Right. All of you observe carefully. After understanding this database and database management systems, now here, how many types of databases are existed? I think so. Given this point also, am I right? Next, a continuation point. Types of database management systems. Given or not given? I think in the diagram it is not available. I might be I remembered that I given some other next continuation also. Okay, no problem. Then let me talk about it. Different types of database management systems are available. Different types of database management systems are available. So many types are available, but one of might be most of three important things I'm taking. No, what are the three important things here? First one is like what there is management systems. Relational database management systems. And second one is like what there are database management systems. And the last one is like what there object relational database management systems. Observe carefully guys. Then what are the various database management systems? No, three things here I've taken. Maybe apart from this, few more things are available like graphical database management systems, network database management system, distributed database management system. So many things are available, but the topmost three I'm taking now. Right, sir. How many types of database management systems are available now? Tell me here. Now there are three types of database management systems. What are the three types of database management systems here? Right. So many types are available, but I'm taking only three types here. First one is what there relational database management system. Second one is object oriented database management system. Next one is object database management system. All right, sir. Now here we have to understand one by one clearly. Observe carefully. No. First one is relational database management system. What it able to do there? It is able to represent data. Come on, guys. It is able to represent data in the form of what? In the form of what? Tables. Am I right or not? It is able to represent the data in the form of what? There tables. All right. So next one. To perform database operations. To perform database operations with the tables, tables, we have a query language. We have a query language, that is, what is that one? SQL2. That query language is what there? SQL2. SQL2 is what there? Structured query language. SQL2 is what there? Structured query language. Got my point or not? The two in the sense it was introduced in 1992. The two stands for what there? Introduced in 1992. Understand it clearly. That is like what there? A structured query language. That means relational database management system. Next one is what? OODBMS. What is this OODBMS actually? Object oriented database management system. Object oriented database management system. It is able to represent the data in the form of objects. It is able to represent the data in the form of objects. Okay, fine. Right, sir. Now, to perform database operations, with objects, to perform database operations with objects, then we have to use a separate query language. We have to use a separate query language. That is, what is the separate query language, guys? Now tell me. OQL. What is this OQL actually? Object query language. A separate query language here we have to use. That is what their object query language. Understand it clearly. Next one is object after this. ORDBMS. ORDBMS. What is this ORDBMS actually? It is able to represent data in the form of, tables and objects as per the convenience. In both the ways we are able to represent the data. Which one is convenience for us? Which feature is required to represent data in the tables or required to represent data in the form of object? That it able to use internally. So that's why in object relational database management systems, data is going to be represented in the form of tables and as well as in the form of like what their objects. But to perform database operations, what we require, guys? Now tell me, to perform database operations, we need a separate query language. In this case, in the case of this ORDBMS, to perform database operations, we need a separate query language. That is, what is that query language? No, SQL3. Guys, observe carefully. What is that query language there? SQL3. SQL3 is equal to SQL2 plus OQL. There is a simple equation I'm telling there. SQL3 is equal to what there? SQL2 plus what there? OQL. SQL3 is a combination of SQL2 and as well as like what there? OQL. Structured query language. Then what next one here? After the structured query language, no, object query language. These two combination is called as like what there? SQL3. Is it all of you are getting clarity or not? Fine, sir. Next one. So this is the very basic introduction part. It's a very simple introduction part I've given there. Why? Because JDBC is what actually? The process of connecting with the database from Java application. The process of connecting database from what there? Java application. That is called as what there? JDBC, Java database connectivity. So before connecting with the database, first we have to understand at least what is database, what is the meaning of database management systems, how many database management systems are available. All the points here we have to understand. That's why here I've taken this particular point now. Right, sir. Then after that, after completion of this, the next topic is like what there? Query processing system. The next topic is like what there? Query processing system. Right, sir. Put concentration here. This is very important for us. In the future, I need to use this query processing system in the future. So we have to put more concentration to understand this. Right, now let's understand this query processing system. First of all, I'll give a diagram. Now try to understand this diagram. Anyway, then this one here I want to copy now. Okay. Now let's come for this query processing system. Let's say this. All of you guys observe carefully. For example, here I have a database. Here I have database. ENO, ename, ESAL, EADDR. Okay. Right. Now here, this is database. Now inside the database, I want to have some data. Some data. Right. Now, data. Here we are having some data. Right. Right, sir. Now, my requirement is what there in my database, there is a table. What's the table name actually? EMP1 is a table name. In the DMP1, this much of data is existed. All right. My requirement is what? I want to read this data from database table. Or else I want to insert one more record into the database table. Or else I want to update the data in the database table. I want to delete data from database table. So I want to perform these operations. At present, how it is possible to perform these operations? No? How we are able to perform these operations here? To perform these operations here, what we have to take there? Here we have to take a command prompt or not. This command prompt is nothing but what there? SQL prompt or not? SQL client. In other words, we can say it is what there? Oracle client. If we think the database is Oracle, no? From where we are going to interact with this database, from where we are going to perform database operations, that thing is called as what there? Client. That client may be a command prompt simply. That client may be a Java program. That client may be a servlet program. That client may be anything. The client may be anything which is able to perform database operations, the data which is available at the database tables. So this command prompt, this SQL prompt is acting as what there? A client. Right, sir. Now, my requirement is what? I want to get data from EMP1 table. To get the data from EMP1 table, then what we have to do there? Here we have to write a SQL query or not? What is that SQL query here? We have to write there, select star from EMP1 semicolon. This is the SQL query here we have written. Am I right or not? But observe carefully. Whenever we are submitting some SQL queries to the database, when we are submitting some SQL query to the database, at a database, one separate person is existed to execute our SQL queries. At a database, one person is existed to perform database operations. Who is this person actually? That person name is what there? Either database server, either we can call it as database server, or we may call it as like what there? Database engine. Either we may call database engine or we may call it as what there? Database server. This database engine is able to communicate with the database, is able to open the database doors by using username and password. By using what their username and password. Database engine is able to connect with the database by using what their username and what their password. Sir, all of you are getting my points or not? This is exactly the meaning of like what their database engine. Okay, nice. When this database engine is available, then what's going to be happen? Try to observe carefully. When I click on enter button with this SQL query and command prompt, automatically that SQL query will be given to database engine. Automatically that SQL query will be provided to database engine. Now database engine has to execute that SQL query. Database engine has to fetch the data from database table. Database engine has to send the data back to the SQL prompt. This is what we are expecting. Understand it? No? When I submit an SQL query from SQL prompt to the database engine, what database engine is performing the operations internally and how it able to read the data from database table. If you observe this point, answer is very clear. Answer is what the database engine has to execute this SQL query. Database engine will fetch the data from database table and database engine will send the data back to what their SQL prompt. But how database engine is able to perform all these operations here? If you observe this clearly, when an SQL query is given to the database engine, then immediately database engine is able to perform 4 actions. Database engine is able to perform what actions there? 4 actions. What are the 4 actions? No. First one is what there? Query tokenization. First one is what there? Query tokenization. Next one is like what there? Query parsing. Next one is like what there? Query optimization. Next one is what there? Query execution. Query execution. These are overall 4 operations which are performed by database engine. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my points or not? Right. What are the 4 operations which are performed here? First one is like what there? Query tokenization. Next one is what there? Query parsing. Then after that, what next one here? Query optimization. Then after that, what next one here? Query execution. These 4 operations are performed by like what there? Database engine. Understand it clearly. Right, sir. Then after that, after completion of this, right, sir, one after another they are going to be performed here. First, it will perform like what there? Query tokenization. Next one is what there? Query parsing. Next one is what there? Query optimization. Then after that, what next one here? Query execution. Clear? Now understand this. What is the meaning of this query tokenization? Nothing, sir. Dividing the provided SQL query into the number of pieces. Whatever the SQL query is provided there, select a star from EMP1. Entire query will be divided into number of pieces. What are the various pieces? No, select. Then what next one here? Star. Then what next one here? No, from. Then what next one here? EMP1. Then what next one here? Semicolon. So where each and every piece is what there? Each and every piece is called as a token. Finally here, what we are getting there? No, stream of tokens is provided as an output. Stream of tokens is provided as what there? An output from query tokenization phase that will be taken by query parsing phase as an input. Stream of tokens as what there? An output from query tokenization phase. Now the stream of tokens are taken as an input to what there? Query parsing phase. Now what this query parsing phase is able to do? What query parsing phase is able to do? Nothing. The main intention of query parsing phase is to check errors in the provided SQL query. Just to check whether the provided SQL query has errors or not. But how it able to check that errors here now? How it able to provide these errors here? Now observe carefully. Right, sir. There the point is what now? Whatever the stream of tokens are taken from query tokenization phase, that stream of tokens are taken as an input. With this stream of tokens, a tree representation will be created. What it able to create? No, a tree representation. A tree is going to be created. The tree is called as a query tree. The tree is called as what there? Query tree. There some rules and regulations are available to create that tree. Parsing rules and regulations are available, not required up to that level, but orally we can understand. No, with the tokens, query parsing phase is able to create a tree representation. If the tree is created successfully, then it was an indication for the database engine. No errors are available in the provided SQL query. Also carefully, if the tree is created successfully, if query tree is created successfully, then there are no errors in the provided SQL query. In the case, if tree is not created successfully, tree is not successful, then it was an indication that in the provided SQL query, some errors are available. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? So what is the point I'm telling there? With the provided tokens, now query parsing phase is going to create a tree representation. Just like it's a binary tree, it's able to create a tree representation. If tree is constructed successfully, then there are no mistakes in the provided SQL query. If tree is not created successfully, definitely there are some mistakes in the provided SQL query. In that way, query parsing phase is able to create what their query tree. This is called as like what their query tree. We can understand now. Finally, what happened there from this query parsing phase? No, query tree as an output here we are able to get. Query tree is generated by query parsing phase. Yes, sir. All of you are getting up to this point now. Next one, all of you understand this now. Next one is what there. After getting this query tree, when query tree was generated from query parsing phase, no, what is that next phase here? No, query optimization phase. What this query optimization phase here it able to do there? Query optimization phase is able to take query tree as an input and it able to perform number of optimization mechanisms over the query tree. Number of optimization algorithms are available for queries now. It able to apply number of optimization algorithms over the query tree in order to save memory utilization, in order to reduce execution time. Answer my point, to reduce memory utilization, to reduce execution time, query parsing phase, that means query optimization phase is applying number of optimization mechanisms over the query tree. When optimizations are performed on this query tree, automatically optimized query tree will be generated. Automatically, what tree it able to generate there? No, optimized query tree will be generated. We can observe this clearly. This we can say like what there? Optimized query tree. This is nothing but what there? Optimized query tree. When optimized query tree is available, then optimized query tree will be provided as an output from what there? As an output from query optimization phase. Then that will be an input to what there? Query execution phase. Sir, all of you get my point or not? So whenever we are getting that optimized query tree to the query execution phase has number of interpreters internally. That query execution phase has what there? Interpreter execute. That interpreter will execute that query tree, optimized query tree. If interpreter is executing that query tree directly, lot of execution time will be taken, more memory wastage is going on. But when execution time, that means when interpreters are executing optimized query tree, automatically memory utilization will be saved and query, that means execution time is going to be reduced here. So these are the advantages we are able to get from what their query optimization here. So anyway, in the query execution phase, interpreters are available, interpreters are executing that query tree, and finally it able to fetch the data from database table. Whatever the data here we fetched from database table, the total data, whatever the data here we fetched from the database table, the total data will be given as an output in the respective like what there SQL prompt. The database engine will send the data, total data as a response to the respective client. That's it. This is what exactly the meaning of like what there query execution process. How this query is executed here. This is overall information here we can understand. As all of you get my point or not? Right, so now this is nothing but like what there query processing system. Right, so this is the meaning of like what there query processing system. Observe carefully. Here anyway, I need to give some description about it, no? But the overall process I have given how this query processing system is going to be happen clear. Now tell me, sir, what exactly the points I discussed with you? Now try to understand all of you guys. What exactly the points I'm telling there? What is this query processing system actually? In general, when we send an SQL query to database, at a database engine will execute the provided SQL query by using the following phases. What are the phases are provided here? First one is like what there? Query tokenization. Then the second one is like what there? Query parsing. Guys, now tell me, what is the third one here? Query optimization. Then after that, what next one here? No, query execution. Right. So these are overall things are existed here. Now here we have to understand like what there each and every one clearly. Right. So first one is we have to understand like what there. What is this query tokenization? Now what we are able to understand about this query tokenization here? No, right, sir. It able to divide the provided SQL query into number of pieces called as tokens. Number of pieces called as what their tokens. Okay, it will provide stream of tokens as an output. It will provide stream of tokens as an output. That's it. It will provide stream of tokens as what there as an output. This is query tokenization phase. That's okay, fine. Next one is what is that next one? Can you tell me? Query parsing phase. Query parsing phase. Then what it able to do there? It will take a stream of tokens, the stream of tokens as an input, and it will take a stream of tokens as an input, and it will create a tree representation called as query tree. Called as what there? Query tree. If query tree is a success, then there are no errors in the provided query. If a query tree is not a success, then there are some errors in the provided query, in the provided SQL query. Is there all of you are understanding it or not? In a simplified manner here, I have given that information there. It will take a stream of tokens as an input, and it will create a tree representation called as what there? Query tree. If query tree is successful, then there are no errors in the provided query. If the query tree is not successful, then there are some errors in the provided SQL query. That's it. Now this is what exactly the meaning of what there? Query parsing phase. Am I right or not? Now tell me guys, then what we understood there about this query optimization phase? No, query optimization phase, what we are able to understand here? No, it is able to apply number of optimization algorithms over the query tree in order to reduce memory utilization, in order to reduce what there memory utilization, and in order to reduce application execution. That means query execution time. And it will provide optimized query tree. And it will provide what there? Optimized query tree. Next one, after that, query execution phase. Last one here. What is the meaning of this query execution phase, guys? Now tell me what you are understanding there. No, all right, sir. It is able to have number of interpreters to execute query tree. That means optimized query tree, and it will perform the required database operation, and it will perform the required database operation. That's it. Then automatically the total data will be submitted to the SQL client. That means Oracle client. Then from where that SQL query is coming there. This is the total points here what we understand about like what there this query. That means overall information here about what their query processing system. Is that all of you are getting these points or not? This topic is important for us. Why? Because in the future in JDBC, there is a question for us, the difference between statement and prepared statement. Then we have a question, what are the differences between statement and prepared statement? If you want to understand that particular question there, you must know this particular point. We must understand what there this particular point here. Difference between this statement and different prepared statement, if you want to understand there, this is mandatory. That query processing system is mandatory. How it is mandatory, I can give some point here, try to understand it now. How it is mandatory now? For example, assume the situation, I want to execute 100 SQL queries. 100 what SQL queries? No, same insert SQL queries I want to execute. All 100 SQL queries are insert SQL queries only. Understand my point here? All the SQL queries are what there? Insert SQL queries only. Observe carefully. If we use statement for executing all 100 SQL queries, no, first insert SQL query, entire process would be taken by database engine. Query tokenization, query parsing, query optimization, and query execution. Second insert SQL query, tokenization, parsing, optimization, and execution, and so on and so on and so on. 100th SQL query, insert SQL query, again tokenization, parsing, optimization, and execution. But observe carefully, every time tokenization, if you observe there, no change is available, same process. Observe query parsing, again same process, no changes are identified. Observe this query optimization, same optimization, and every time no changes are identified. But query execution is different. Execution is mandatory. Now tell me, 100 times execution of insert SQL query, 100 times tokenization, 100 times parsing, 100 times optimization is unnecessary or not? Without having change from one time to another time, performing all 100 times is unnecessary or not? 99 number of times we are performing unnecessarily. So in the case of statement, database engine is working in that way. So a lot of time will be taken for processing. When a lot of time is taken for processing, no, total JDBC program execution time will be increased. When JDBC application execution time is increased, performance will be reduced in our application. Then what is the alternative? No, here what is that alternative here? 100 number of insert SQL queries if you want to execute, I should not perform every time tokenization, parsing, and optimization. For all 100 number of records insertion, only one time, first time only I want to perform tokenization, parsing, and optimization. In the second time onwards, directly I want to execute query, I want to insert records onto the database table without performing every time query tokenization, query parsing, query optimization. If you want to get this alternative, there we should not use a statement. That is possible with what there prepared statement. In the case of prepared statement, for inserting 100 number of SQL queries there, for executing 100 number of times insert SQL query, how many times that query tokenization, parsing, and optimizations are performed there? Only one time they are going to be performed. 100 records are going to be inserted. But if you use statement, then what will happen there? Every time executing that insert SQL query, even though it is the same SQL query, every time database engine must perform what there? Query tokenization, query parsing, and query optimization. This is unnecessary. So where performance of the JDBC application will be reduced. In this context, to improve the performance of the JDBC application, there we have to go for like what there? There we must go for what we have to go there? No, prepared statement. Right. To understand this, to explain this total concepts here we require what there? This particular representation. Then if you know how these queries are executed internally, then it's very simple to understand our content clearly. Is it all of you are getting my points or not clearly? No response, guys. Huh? So just it is a very, very starting point only. Nothing we understood there. Just still we are at a database side only. What is database and how this database is available? Up to that all I'm explaining now. Got it or not? So next we have to go for like what there. Now we have to start what there. JDBC definitions. JDBC definitions here we have to start. JDBC there we have to start the definitions clearly. Few definitions are available. I'll discuss about these few definitions clearly, right? So I want to discuss this topic on tomorrow. Tomorrow I will go for the definitions one by one, one by one. 2 to 3 definitions I will discuss it. Then after that I will introduce drivers, JDBC drivers. If we complete the JDBC drivers now, next onwards we are going to see steps to prepare first JDBC application. What are the very steps we require to prepare the JDBC applications? That all the points here we are discussing clearly. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? Right, so now this is the content here I'm telling to you. Right. And one more thing, those who are in packages now, have you got the information about Oracle classes? Have you joined with the Oracle classes there? At what time? 11 o'clock. Intentionally, we are keeping that batch. Actually, at 10 o'clock, we have to put there. But because of this class, Oracle class is adjusted here. At 11 o'clock, that class is going to be start. I think already started, right? When it was started? Today. Today evening, right? Or Friday? Anyway, then try to inquire at our office there. Timing is 11 o'clock. Maybe today or maybe next Thursday. Just try to check once there. Then we are able to understand it. Those are in packages. This is a permanent solution. Try to follow the Oracle schedule. Try to complete the Oracle without having delay. Already it was delayed for you. The before starting this JDBC and all, we must have some awareness on Oracle. Anyway, it was getting delayed, right? Then try to complete the Oracle classes there. Meanwhile, we are having UI classes also. At what time UI classes there? Any awareness? 12 o'clock, I think so. There is a batch. Sweta madam is taking the UI classes now. No, no response. Not attended? Yes, yes. 6:30 evening. Ramesh sir is taking the class. No issues. Either of the faculty, but first completing that course is important for us. So try to join with the classes here whenever we are having schedule. Just I'm telling to you, don't to join for any other course at 7 to 8:30, 8:30 to 10. This 10 to 11 o'clock classes are going on up to few days of time only. After that, I will take your class at 7 o'clock. Understand it now? By the time 10 o'clock, if you're in full stack, no, definitely we are going to arrange some other course at 10 o'clock. Understand it clearly. So how much time I'm going to take for JDBC? Let me take it. Once if I complete the classes at 10 o'clock there, some other course will be introduced here for full stack people there. Understand it now? But my classes will be 7 to 8:30 and 8:30 to 10 now. In the future, I'm going to start it. Almost all. January 20 or January 23rd, Spring framework, I'm going to start. Meanwhile, we are going to complete some part of the JDB, maybe max JDBC, we are going to be completed here. You may be joined with servlets at 7 o'clock there, 7 to 8:30. Servlets are going on there. Parallelly, we are going to complete what there, that is Spring framework at 8:30, 8:30 to 10 o'clock. There is a clear cut schedule for it. If we follow this and a single track, we are able to complete all the courses here. If you're not having any plan like this, no, your courses may be endless. How much time it's going to take to complete your courses, we don't know. That's why at least now itself, we have to follow this schedule then. So Oracle at what time? 11 o'clock. If you're missing any Oracle class there at 12 o'clock might be UI class are available. If you're missing any UI class there at 12 o'clock UI class are available. Or maybe at evening time Ramesh sir class if you're attending, well and good, no problem. Try to continue the evening classes there now. This is one point I'm telling you. Got it? And those who are in offline, one more intimation. Thank you. We'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see the definitions of this JDBC. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Right, yes. Nothing I've taken there. Just I've given some intimation to you guys. Nothing I've taken there. Yes, videos will be provided for everybody, guys. Don't worry. Videos will be provided here. Huh? Already you attended there previously, right? Yeah, why not? Why? What is the requirement? No. Up to my classes, you can repeat, no problem. But other faculty class in the sense, right? Guys, anything else about from this? Yeah, please. ఎవరు? 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. తీసుకుంటాను. ఒక్క నిమిషం వస్తున్నాను. Guys, and we'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll clarify your doubts if you have anything else. Thanks a lot. We'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see the remaining part.